right, we're recording. You can do it whenever you want, Nolan. I'm keeping that in.
Welcome to the Nerds Cantos.
Oh man, we're here today. We're here to talk about two books, a comic book and a book. The authors and artists will be on screen. I don't have their names in front of me, so I'll just throw them on screen in editing. But we're talking about Django Fett. That's the name. Django Fett open seasons, and then the Republic Commandos Hard Contact novel. So we're talking about Star Wars. A thing all of us hate, truly despise, pure hatred for Star Wars over here. Can't stand it.
Yeah.
I can't stand Star
Yeah,
Wars.
unfortunately, it's a lot.
Yeah, Star Wars sucks. Ass franchise, but these books were pretty good. Well, the book was pretty good. I didn't like the comic book, to be honest, but we can start. I think we can start with the comic
Yeah.
book. You know, that's
Yeah, we
shorter.
can start with the comic. It's a 4
It
issue.
was alright. It wasn't bad. I mean, it was lacking in substance, I think. But, it's a Legends comic. I'll take it. I thought I liked the art sometimes. I mean, it wasn't like crazy, but it reminded me of 2003 Clone Wars with how he drew people in different positions, especially during like the Jedi fight with the that little massacre with Dooku. I liked all that.
Yeah, I'll say I really enjoy having a Jango Fett backstory because you don't get much of that in Attack of the Clones, obviously, because it's a
It's shit.
it's a movie. The less said about Attack of the Clones, the better. But yeah, if I'm not wrong, I believe it was a tie-in to the Jango Fett game. It's a collectible in that game, but I don't know if it's like a full tie-in, but it's definitely in the game. I know that for a fact because I played the game. But yeah, it's a nice comic. I really liked it. And that's because I'm a Jango Fett believer. Okay, I'm a Jango Fett truther. They listen. I just like him, and I do like his little story of being adopted by the True Mandalorians, the little mercenary group led by Jasper Moreau, who's a character in the book. Gets shot like 80 times, which is unfortunate. Very unlucky.
Rip.
Those gorillas on I forget the planet name. They mean business because they are outfitted.
Who knows?
They are outfitted.
The freaking Halo brutes on that planet.
Yeah, it's who knows with Star Wars planet names, but I thought it was okay. I thought the art was fine. Serviceable art for a Star Wars comic book, and the story itself was fine. I don't like Jango Fett. And I'm on record, I've had many an argument with all of you. Well, you two and then our other friends. I think Count Dooku lame as hell. So I don't like either of the main characters of this book, unfortunately. I think Jango Fett's fine. I just don't care. And I think it's because Boba Fett looks cooler. And Boba Fett goes out like a bitch and gets eaten by a weird pit in the floor. And then Jango Fett, who looks kind of cool, gets his head cut off after doing nothing for an entire movie. So as a kid, I'm just like, man, both of these guys suck. So that's my
George
thoughts.
Lucas moment, honestly.
It is a George Lucas moment. I don't know. I'm the kind of Star Wars guy. I mean, obviously, we were joking at the beginning. I think all of us, somewhere deep down inside of ourselves, love Star Wars. But I'm the guy where I like the laser swords and the superpowers, and I like the mysticism. I like the goofy Yoda guy when he talks about balance and shit. I don't care about the blasters or the clone troopers or the Mandalorian. None of that shit really interests me. I mean, I'll watch it, I'll read it. If it's good, it's good, But I'm here for the fun laser swords and for people to talk about Buddhism, but disguised as sci-fi nonsense. And so Jango Fett, he's a guy. I like the video game though. It's a fun video game.
It is a fun video
Played
game.
it as a kid. Played it recently. I played it 4 years ago. I thought it held up for a PS2 game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good time.
Yeah, I guess.
Sorry.
I was gonna say I'm like kind of the opposite of you, Xander. I do like the Force, obviously, because it's Star Wars. You can't really separate the Force from that. I don't know, maybe it's because I grew up more in Halo, but I like guys in like sci-fi armor shooting things,
Yeah,
Exactly.
I
and
respect
that's
Right.
that.
what Mandalorians are
That's
at
true.
at their core. They are guys in a very specific set of armor who go around and shoot things, and that's what I like about them.
I think that's valid. I mean, we just had this
And
talk
a
the other
bunch
day.
of other Legends nonsense that I won't get into right
Well,
now
yeah,
because we're
there's
going to get into that in about a few minutes here when we
um
talk about the book.
no, I was gonna say we had this talk the other day when we uh for people listening or watching, I guess, even though there's never really any actual. I mean, there's images on screen, but it's an audio podcast, regardless. Um, like a week ago, they announced the Gears of War remake, and our friend group sort of how we had a little bit of a talk about it. Because for me, I don't care for like military sci-fi. If it's good, like I mean, I like Halo because I like those games, like I like the gameplay, and I like some moments in Halo. But like I don't really care about guys in armor doing cool, unless it's like I don't know. I like fun, goofy sci-fi, and then I like the sort of mysticism that Star Wars has. But other than that, I don't know. So that's why
He's a nerd. That's what
hey,
he is. He's a
listen,
nerd.
it's not great when your like first introductions to like sci-fi and fantasy as a child are like Star Wars, and then you have a dad who like can't stand the prequels. So you're when you're 2 and your dad's like, these movies suck, you're like, yeah, I agree, Dad. And then also the other thing is he shows you the dark crystals, and you're like, okay, puppets, Buddhism. Those are the things that matter the most in the world, all right? That's what matters. So,
Essentially, yeah.
I just don't care.
I'm
But
a big
it's fine.
fan of armor and cool armor
Yeah. I like when that
and
stuff is in
clone
my.
troopers.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could move on. I think that's all we have to say about Jenga. I'm just like, it was fine. It was
Yeah, it's a
decently
very
written.
short issue comic. We could
Yeah.
summarize the plot,
Eh,
but you could just go like read it right now
yeah.
and be done with it in like 30 minutes.
You could be done with the first 2 issues in the time that you just listened to us say absolutely nothing about the first 2 issues, all right? Like, you don't need us to summarize it, but we can summarize Hard Contact, the book, which I
The book.
actually enjoyed a fair bit because I thought it was well written.
It made
Is
me kind of give
infamous.
a shit about Jango Fett too. I'm not gonna lie.
Eh.
Dude, I'm saying, okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Where do we want to start with this here book?
I mean, it's
Uh,
I don't know, Stu. You got
I,
some?
I was gonna say we could start off with the like clones, the squad.
Yeah, we could talk about
Talk
the
about Darman.
characters. I mean, dude, Darman, yeah, the famous YouTuber. God, it was bugging me the whole time. Well, I guess if you don't know, this book is a book about Republic Commandos or Clone Commandos, whatever whatever their actual title is. But they're
Believe
badass
in
clones.
Legends is just Republic Commando.
Yeah, so they're badass clones. They're like better than regular clones. And this book's about it's an Omega Squad, right?
Yes,
Omega.
it is Omega Squad.
Yeah, it's about Omega Squad. And they're sent on their first mission to
Well,
go.
it's good to be of context. Omega Squad is a squad built up of surviving members of broken squads. So, like, the
Yeah,
book
because
opens up with the Battle of Geonosis. Sorry, it opens up with the Battle of Geonosis, and Darman is waiting for his squad. They never show up, and he gets assigned to a new squad full of people who were set in similar circumstances.
yeah, the Battle of Geonosis that the book opens up with, complete disaster for the Republic
It's
Commandos.
true.
A lot of them were deployed incorrectly, like to help supplement the frontline infantry, which they aren't really supposed to do, given that they're special forces commandos. So a lot of them just get mulched in Geonosis.
Yeah,
So
pretty bad.
our boys of Omega Squad are made up of surviving squads, and none of them are really happy about it. We get a little You get a point of view from all of them. I think except for Adam. I think we get Adam a little bit later,
Yeah.
but we never get him like his perspective in this book. It's mostly Niner and Garmin.
I was gonna
We get a
say
little Phi.
just
There
a
was
little bit,
one
but
there was one Atten perspective, I think, and that was with him and the Jedi or the Padawan, and they were like talking about how like she built her own lightsaber, and he like oogly googlies over that.
yes, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah.
get some of his. He's got some
Yeah.
gadget autism
I was
going
gonna
on.
say because he liked building the machinery and stuff. Yeah.
Mm.
So I realized, by the way, so we've actually been saying the name of their squad wrong the entire time, guys.
Dun, dun, dun.
We
We can't do
I'll
the
hit
bit.
you,
We can't do the bit.
Omega. Come on, guys. Come on.
Omega.
Omega. I'm definitely overlaying us saying that with actual clips from Bad Batch to make it funnier. Because I realized it. I was like, wait a minute. It's the same name. And here we are. These guys are a
That's
better
we
Bad
start talking
Batch.
about
These
Bad
guys are a
Batch.
more interesting
They are.
Bad Batch.
I told you.
Book is good. This is just the Omega Squad gets sent into a planet to go stop an evil lady making a gas bomb.
And they get sent on
But
Quill. Let me see.
Kilara.
Yeah, Quillara. I was gonna look up the pronunciation
guys,
real quick.
we don't care about the Star Wars planet names out here, all right? If you're not
You
Tatooine,
don't care about Kilara, the
listen,
#1 foodstuff planet?
if you're not
Yeah, you don't care about
Tatooine
growing
or
art.
Dantooine, I think those are the only two Uween names. I was gonna keep going, but I don't know if there's any other ones that end with Uween, but
I'm like
it's
99% sure it's just Dantooine.
I think it is just has to be the
Dantooine,
Dantooine.
Tatooine.
Yeah, I think that's it. No, the real Star Wars, if you ask me, fuck all these planets. All right, it's on Tatooine, and it's on Jabba's sponsored pod races. All right, we need novels and movies and shows and comics and games about pod racing. All right, I think we're missing
There is
out.
a pod racing game.
I know it's
There is
it's
a
good.
pod
I think
racing
there's
game.
two of them, and I think I own both of them. I think only one of them is actually good though. I like Ben Quadinaros. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, we're getting off topic. Let's talk about the
Sorry, the glove
Glove
shitos. Like, what's the Padawan's name in this? Why can't I remember?
Eton Termaka.
Say that
Tan?
again? Etan?
Eton.
Eton?
Is it
Etan.
Eton or ET?
Etain?
Etan? I don't know.
Etain? Okay.
I've always mentally corrected to Eton because it sounds more Star Warsy in my mind, but the audiobook might say it differently.
I don't know.
There's one that you guys were saying that was killing me.
No one will know.
What,
He listened to the
what's
audiobook.
well, name the clone troopers for me, boys.
Adam,
Darman.
Phi, Darman, and Niner.
Yeah, there you go. See, we got 'em.
They call him Fee.
Well, they're
They call him
fucking. They're New
T?
Zealand, man. They're not. That's not
That's
how you're
true.
gonna say that. Yeah. We're fucking red-blooded Americans over here, all right? We don't be saying that bullshit, okay?
Phi sounds more Star Warsy than me. I'm saying Phi.
I like Phi more. I don't. I am not from.
I
New
guess
Zealand or
phonetically
Australia.
it would be Phi, but
I mean, if you're from that area or Latin, then yeah, it would be Phi. But we're none of us are any of those things.
Semantics.
So I'm gonna continue saying Phi. Or whatever my brain feels like conjuring at the exact moment. But I didn't like the Padawan in this book. That's really my only smiling gripe. No, I really
What'd you
don't
not
really
like about her?
I didn't think she was very Padawan-esque. All right, she wasn't giving me Jedi vibes. Okay, with like the way she spoke. And like I know a bit of her character is that she like doesn't believe herself to like she doesn't think she's worthy of being a Jedi, but like she didn't have any of the and I guess I should also say I understand this book was written in like 2004, which means it was probably written throughout 2003, 2004, you know, pre a lot of the stuff we actually like, you know, the prequels and blah blah. But like to me she just wasn't very Padawan-esque, you know. She didn't really speak like a Jedi. I don't know. I feel like Jedi kind of have like prequel and then pre-prequel Jedi kind of have a way of speaking because they are a cult of warrior monks who are all raised by like the same fucked up green guy. So like for me when it comes to Jedi, and it doesn't help that before reading this book I read like 5 High Republic books, which is all about Jedi. So it's in my mind, but for me I'm like, even if you're not very, even if your actions are very un-Jedi like, the way you speak should still kind of be that, unless you're purposely rebelling from the Order, and that's like a separate thing. But she's not doing that until kind of the end when she like doesn't listen to instructions. Um, but I mean, I liked her. I liked her character at the end. I just thought the whole time I was just kind of like, it doesn't really feel like a Padawan to me.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Especially with her, like your intro to her
Yeah,
is her hiding and then like threatening a farmer with a lightsaber. So you know that is like, okay, you're threatening a civilian with death for no good reason here. Um,
I mean, she had a little bit of reason. Her
sure,
master is presumed dead at that point, and she's in hostile territory and has no idea what to do.
Why did he? I don't
She
even.
also just got accosted by
Yeah, I mean, she was getting
CIS
fucked up.
goons.
She's getting fucked up at the beginning, but I don't. I want. I don't even know why we had like those first couple chapters where the master was alive, because they just kill him like immediately.
Oh,
That's
the
like,
Namodi? Oh, the
yeah,
master. Okay.
yeah. Well, because it's like she thinks her master is dead, and then we cut to the main villain, Hoken. I think that's how you say it, or
Hoken or
yeah,
Hokan.
I was gonna say
Either
Hoken
way.
or Hokan or
I
fucking Haken. I don't even know. Well, so Hoken is how I read it. So then we cut to Hoken, and he's like, he like has the Jedi Master as a prisoner, and he's like, I'm gonna enjoy torturing and keeping you alive and getting information out of you. And then like 2 or 3 chapters later or something, he just like kills him, or the Master dies or something. I don't remember, but I just remember being like, why even have that scene where he's
well,
alive?
the
Like,
reason I could tell you why. It's because when he dies, it's a big deal for Etain because she feels it in the Force.
Yeah.
She has a big
okay,
Jedi moment there.
might have
Because as the book goes
read
on,
that
she
over. Yeah.
becomes more emotionally in tune to the Force, and I think she does start talking like a Jedi because she starts really feeling the Force.
Oh yeah,
Um,
she has. I mean, like,
so
so yeah, she does get a
I see
little.
her growth from beginning to end. There is growth there, and especially at the end, whenever she does rebel against the general, he's like, I sense that your decisions are deeply rooted in the Force. You may
That's
go.
true.
I am pleased.
I remember
He
that.
completely 180s. So I think that's she does
That's
have some
fair.
major
Okay.
growth in here for
No,
Jedi
I think she's got.
1.0.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I'm not. She's got some growth. Like I liked her character by the end. So
And
I
I,
just don't think
I
she
don't.
speaks like
There's
that.
clearly like a spark of love between her and Darman. I don't know if y'all were getting
Oh
that.
no,
I was getting that. Yeah, okay.
yes,
And
undoubtedly.
she kind of comes to terms with her role as a Jedi and attachment. Um, though I don't know what the next couple books have with that. I don't know if they get
Speaking
back
as the one
together.
who's read the future books, I'm not saying. I'm not gonna say
Okay.
anything
Speaking
here.
as the guy who accidentally read the Wikipedia pages and completely spoiled the next like 5 books, I also will not
This
say
guy.
anything.
This guy
Well,
over here.
listen. You go to the wiki because I was like, what's the next one after this? And then it was like, it's in a series of 5 books, and one of them is called, um, like Imperial Commandos because it's like post Order 66.
Oh
And
yeah, I
yeah,
know that there's that
and
Order
right, and
66
so I
book.
was like, I clicked on that one because I was like, oh well, that's kind of interesting. Like, when did that come out? And then it was like, this is in a series. Like this one was never finished, and there was a planned sequel, and then everything. I was like, oh, it's just so much information was absorbed in that moment. So I know things. But I still enjoyed this book. I thought Hard Contact was a pretty well written. From the clones' perspectives, I thought it was. This just felt like an episode of Clone Wars, or an arc, I should say.
I, dude, I'm really looking forward to reading the next groups. And I gotta say, the reason that this made me give a shit about Jango Fett is because we get a lot of flashbacks to the Republic Commandos training because that's all they know. They know training for 10 years, a brief stint on Geonosis for a couple months or whatever,
Geonosis is
short. I don't
supposed
know
to be
how
the
long they're there.
prologue.
And then,
I think
yeah,
they
like,
talk about it a lot, but they don't flash back to it, if I
yeah.
remember correctly.
But they flash back to their training a lot. And they're trained not by Jango Fett himself. Jango Fett goes around, collects a bunch of badass Mandalorian motherfuckers, and says, all right, you will get anything you want, but one thing: if you stay here and train like the most badass clones in the galaxy, you won't be able to go home. So they're like, you will live and die here training clones. And you get flashbacks of like this elite Mandalorian unit talking to the clones and like doing things with clones. And Darman and like I think only one of them wasn't in the training with them.
Um, yes, one of them was under another Mandalorian trainer. You'll get more of that in the
Yeah.
next book.
But
A lot
anyways,
more of that in the next
this
book.
is Scarab. His name was
Yeah.
Scarada, and he's like this sad Mandalorian alcoholic that kind of humanizes the clones, and they all take after his personality. And it's just it. I just love that. I just eat that sort of thing up. It's like because this Mandalorian is essentially their father that may or may not have killed a shit ton of them in the training because it's fucked up. But like
Hey, that's not
they
his fault.
say if you walked into Scarada's room, yeah, it's not if you walked into Scarada's room late at night, there's a good chance he'd pour you a drink and start fucking sobbing to you. Like, what? Imagine being born as an adult into that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's pretty fucked
you're like,
up.
what is this? What am I looking at here? Why is there tears running down his face? You start learning about emotion and like empathy and shit. And you're like, what the fuck? And then you get thrown into war where there's none of that. You get yanked out of war, thrown into a covert mission where you have to save a Padawan, and the Padawan is instantly back to that humanization and then some. And it's just, I just love it.
It's got good
Yeah, you
clones.
would get a lot more of Scarada and the rest of the. I can never say it. The rest of the
Kaminoan,
Mandal.
bro, the
No,
Kaminoans, dude.
the
Oh.
Mandalorian training group, the Ku. I can never remember how to
Oh,
pronounce it.
dude, I got no clue.
Those who do not exist. That's what it means in English. But yeah, the rest of those Mandalorian trainers appear in the next books.
Ku Valdar or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, you could throw it on screen.
I'll
The
throw it
like
on
words.
screen. It'll be there. If I'm not in a lazy mood when I'm editing this, I'll throw it up there. But um, a good time, a decent enough book that I'm not opposed to reading this. I was a little worried. You know, you were like, we're gonna read a Republic Commando novel, and I was like, okay, here we go. You know, I was like going off of 3 Star Wars books into another Star Wars book. Oh boy, but no, it was good. Um, and so I would read the sequels, even though I know most of everything that happens, but it's okay. It doesn't really matter.
It really makes me hate the Bad Batch because there's one line. There's one line, all right? And it's whenever Atten and Darman are digging through a little shit latrine thing. They're digging in a tunnel and get doused by poo poo. And they're like, whenever we get back, we gotta tell them to get these uniforms in matte black. And they start dying laughing. And I'm like, God damn it. The fucking Bad Batch, you motherfucker.
Hey, they've got
phone.
red on them though. They're partially red, man. So it's
They do wear all different armor, which is
yeah, because they all look different. Because they're all fucked up looking.
We're not talking about the Bad Batch.
No, none of us have actually watched that show or watched more than one season.
Attempted. Yeah, I've attempted multiple times. I can never get into it.
Every couple months, I'll open Disney Plus and I'll click on the Star Wars tab and then I'll like navigate over to Bad Batch. I'm like, all right, season 2, episode 3, let's do it, or season 2, episode 4, or whatever it is, you know. And then I watch the one episode. I'm on my phone half the time, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm never watching another one of these. That's happened 3 times so far. I did with Skeleton Crew as well, but it's a separate topic. I would personally, I'd give this book a solid 8.
Hell yeah.
It's a good little 8 out of
That's
10.
around where mine was. Right. My review lied. Dude, I loved the Delta Squad references. There's this scene where before they go on the mission, they go to the armory and they're like, these are some knickknacks Delta Squad left from Geonosis and their adventures, and they've got all sorts of wacky ass weapons from the game. Pretty cool.
Pretty neat. It's a good
Yep.
game.
Banger game. I'm honestly about to replay it just because.
That's valid. Stewie, what would you give it? What would you rate this book?
I'd say 8 out of 10 as well. I like the sequel a lot more.
Okay. That's good to hear.
Isn't that one called like triple something or 3 or
Triple
000.
contact.
000? Ah, look at that. I'm so smart.
I mean, there's a million sequels, though, so.
Yeah,
There's a.
000, True Colors, and then Order 66 is the fourth one.
Oh.
It's
Oh,
tough.
boy. And these books were written pre-brain chip, too, so that's just them murdering their best friends, probably. I don't know, maybe. I think they were written pre-brain chip.
They were.
Yeah. 'Cause that
But
doesn't
in
happen.
in this book, they do talk about how, regardless that the clone infantry are still like heavily indoctrinated
Oh,
in the
sure.
standard
Yeah.
infantry, I should say, and the commandos. What makes them set apart more is that they're given a little more independence, a little more leeway, and then the arcs are also given that leeway.
Which is interesting. Listen, these books. I mean, I guess you can't do it now with like the Bad Batch show, but they could have just been fun little Clone Wars arcs, or like when they brought Clone Wars back, they could have just done more seasons of this, which I think is the
Could have.
best compliment I can give this book. Is that it's like, if you like the Clone Wars, I've got a book for you to read. Okay, like it's perfect.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just like a 4-episode thing of Clone Wars that makes you like Omega Squad. And then of course, if it was a Clone Wars arc, you would never see them again. They would just disappear for the rest of the show and you'd be like, "Oh, all right, I guess." Like that one episode with the clone commander in the droids, and I can't remember his name.
Orin,
Sure. He shows
one
up
that
in Bad
dies.
Batch. No, he's in Bad
Oh
Batch.
no, no,
Yeah.
Bad Batch one. God, who was that?
I don't. He explodes at the end of the episode, and then he's brought back. Why do we keep
Yep.
talking? We keep bringing it
And
back
we
to
can't
Bad
we keep we keep segueing to Bad Batch.
because it's bad. All right,
Got the cameos.
Star Wars is bad now. All right,
Gilroy save us.
Andor is peak. Star Wars is really mid now.
Yeah, I gotta watch that later. As of today,
That's
Andor
tomorrow,
season 2 is
Stewie.
finishing.
You've done this
No,
3 weeks
I
in a
can't, I
row.
can't keep
It's
doing
tomorrow.
it.
It's tomorrow.
Greer.
I keep gaslighting myself. I want Andor. Okay, I want to see it.
I listen. We all want to see it as of 5/13/25. Andor season 2 will end. All right. And the show actually. I guess Andor the show will end. They should make. I was gonna say like a live action clone show could be neat, but I mean it's just Clone Wars, but like, I don't know.
I don't know if it's like in the spirit of this,
That's what I was
like
thinking.
a small
That'd be
special
great.
forces group in live action. I think it could work.
I mean, you could just do a movie of that. Honestly, you could just do like
I like
a
it. I
one
like
Yeah,
it
or a
to
movie,
be
but
adult and gritty. Like
Disney's not going to
it
do a
was.
movie. They're allergic to doing movies now.
No, well, now hold on, man. Star
Oh,
Wars Starfighter and Mandalorian and Grogu, dude. Come on, man.
Mandalorian Grogu.
The most should have been a Disney Plus original movie I'm ever gonna see next year. Well, it and Avengers are gonna compete for a should have never existed award next year, but maybe they'll surprise us. Maybe Mandalorian and Grogu will surprise us like this book surprised me, alright? Bringing it back to the book. It was a good book. I don't think we really have anything else to say about it. I don't have anything else to say about it. I enjoyed it.
I'm just glad that something other than Andor Star Wars related has put a smile on my face.
The books will do that. Most of the Star Wars books I have read. Now I haven't read a lot of Legends. I've only really read canon stuff. I think this is my like second Legends novel, but most of the Star Wars books are like pretty decent. Some of them are not great, but for the most part, they're pretty solid. That being said, they're well, there's like a good 40 years of books that are no longer canon, and then there's a good all of the new canon books are only canon as long as someone who's making a TV show or a movie wants them to be canon. So, you run the risk with a Star Wars book, I suppose. But if that's everything, suppose we can end this episode. Yeah, you guys good with that?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. This is a shorter one, dear viewers, but next time we've got not a wild bow project for you. So